Okay guys, welcome back. We are going to be solving equations. So open up your packet to this page. Here are the steps: distribute, simplify each side by combining like terms, moving variables to one side, and then solve. Okay, so this very first one should be fairly simple. Make sure that you distribute that 6 to both the n and the 5. Then I'm going to use my inverse operations because I only have unlike terms on the side, and I need to move the constant to the other side. This creates a zero pair. 6n equals negative 28, and then I divide by 6. 6 over 6 is 1, and negative 28 divided by 6 is an improper fraction, but I'm going to go ahead and reduce it. 2 goes into both of those. 2 goes into 28 14 times, and 2 goes into 6 3. So there you go. All right, and now we've got this. Keep in mind we are going to first, we've got some parentheses up here. We want to get rid of this fraction first. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 4, negative 4. So I'm multiplying this side by negative 4. And I'm also going to multiply the other side of the equal sign by negative 4. All right? And when I do that, I'm still left with negative 4 times 3, 5 minus 3x. All over 4. Keep that in mind. These two are the same. Since I'm multiplying, it just goes right into the numerator, right? Because when I multiply by a negative 4, it's like negative 4 over 1. So as I'm here, I don't have to multiply these out. I could multiply this out, get negative 12. I don't want to do that. I could distribute that. I don't want to do that because then I'm just going to have to undo it. I can go ahead and just divide and turn that into 1, which is what I'm going to do. And here I'm going to end up with my numerator. Do not think that it is by chance that when I multiply by the denominator, I always end up with the same numerator. Don't think that that's a mistake. That is math. So 3 times 5 is 15 minus 3 times 3x, which is 9x, equals negative 15 times negative 4 is going to give you positive 60. Now I'm going to subtract 15 from both sides. Negative 9x equals 45. Divide by negative 9. And I'm left with x equals negative 5. Because a positive over a negative is a negative. All right. So hopefully that's cluing you in a little bit, kind of giving you, let's work this one here, because these have some fractions, and let's figure out these fractions. I hope you're doing Delta Math. If you need extra help on those fractions, do that assignment multiple times. All right, so we've got negative 16 equals, there are so many different ways to do this problem. If I went ahead and distribute this, it would look like this. Negative 15 over 16 times 4 over 5q plus negative 15 over 16 times 32 over 3. Now, this is very different than cross multiplying. We are dividing. So if I have, for example, this right here, negative 15 times 4 divided by 16 times 5. I can go ahead and divide these numbers that are even. We are not cross multiplying. Please, please, please do not get confused. I am dividing. So 4 divided by 16, 4 goes into 4 one time. 4 goes into 16 4 times. 5 goes evenly into 15. 5 goes into 5 one time, 5 goes into 15, negative 3 times. Now I can multiply across. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. 4 times 1 is positive 4. I would get negative 3 over 4. So I can rewrite that as negative 3 over 4q. All right, let's do it again with this one, and then I will show you how it works out the same regardless of which way you do it. So negative 15 over 16 times 32, that's in my denominator, times 3. Okay, I'm rewriting this like this. The nice thing is I can do these in my head when I do this part in my head. I know that negative 15 divided by 3 is going to be negative 5, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. I know that 16 goes into 16 one time, and 16 goes into 32 two times. So when I multiply it, I get negative 10 over 1, which is just negative 10. Now, just to show you that I'm not messing up anything, I want to show you how if I were to multiply negative 4 or negative 15 times 4, I would get negative 60. And if I were to multiply 16 times 5, I would get 80. So this, if I multiplied those without doing anything, I'd have negative 60 over 80. And you will see that if you reduce these fractions, 20 goes into 63 times, 20 goes into 84 times. So it's the exact same as if you were to multiply it. It just is smaller numbers and makes it easier. So practice with that, this way of doing it. It really just takes practice. So now I've got this, I can do multiple, again, I can take multiple steps. I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides. And I'm going to get negative 26 over here. Now, this looks like a 9. In order to get rid of that fraction, remember we talked about the two different ways. I can multiply by my denominator and then divide by my numerator, or I can multiply by the reciprocal, which is negative 4 over 3. This is the reciprocal. You can do this in 2 steps or you can do this in 1 step. Either way is fine with me. So I'm going to get negative 3 times negative 4. Again, I can just cross divide, and I'm going to get 1q. And then this number is, why am I feeling like this is wrong? Y'all, I screwed up. And hopefully you saw my error. So I was thought about just rewinding it, but I want you to notice that I actually screwed up. This should be a negative because of this, and I want you to see, kind of, hopefully you're over there shouting at the computer, Ms. LaBelle, you did it wrong. I'm going to add 10 to both sides because this should be a negative. So then when I add 10 to both sides, I'm going to end up with negative 6 on this side and 3/4 on that side. So with that being said, I just had a feeling that was weird. So I've got negative 6 equals negative 3 over 4q. Again, I'm going to multiply by my reciprocal, which is negative 4 over 3. So the denominators, negative 4 divided by 4 is 1. Negative 3 divided by 3 is 1. So I'm left with q. But I've got to do this to this side as well. So I can work this fraction 2 different ways. I'm going to just show you. I can multiply the tops and get 24 divided by 3, which is 8. Or I can say, okay, I know that 6 is divisible by 3. 3 goes in there twice. I'm going to reduce that, and negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8. Either way, I'm going to get the same answer. So I get Q equals 8. So that's how you do that one. All right, I'm going to take this pink sheet off. Now, let's flip to the back and work some of these problems on the back here. I'm so sorry that this packet is every other page. We can figure out have something to do about that. So, here I want to get rid of this fraction right here. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. So I multiply this side by 2. And you might be thinking, goodness, what am I going to do with all of this? And let me show you how fabulous this is. I know that there are 2 different ways I can do this. I can multiply that 2, distribute it all out. It would just be a big, huge mess. But the thing is if I multiply by the denominator, it automatically cancels out to be 1. And I'm left with the numerator. So when I rewrite this, I'm going to have 10x plus 17, and I'm going to go ahead and distribute this negative, minus x, and then a negative times a negative is a positive, equals, oh wait, I need to multiply this by 2. Do not forget to multiply both sides. If I multiply this by 2, I've got to multiply this by 2. So when I distribute this, that's going to be 6x plus 2. Please make sure not to forget. All right, now I've got to combine my like terms. So I'm going to look at my terms. I'm going to say which ones need to be combined. Well, I've got an x term here and an x term here. I've got a constant here and a constant here. On this side, I'm good. I don't need to combine any like terms because there's just 2 and they're not the same. So 10x minus x is going to give me 9x. 17 plus 9 is going to give me 26, and I get 6, I don't know why I'm writing 2, 6x plus 2. Now I'm going to subtract 6x from both sides and get 3x. I'm running out of room. And then I'm going to subtract 26 from both sides and get negative 24. And I'm left dividing by 3. And I get x equals negative 8. All right? So now here is the super fun one here. What about this? There are so many different ways to do this problem. What if we multiplied this out? Oops. Make sure that that does not get multiplied out. Good. Now, so 9/8 times 4 minus 9/8 times 1/2 a equals 3 times 1/4 a plus 3 times 5 over 2. Okay, so there you go. We're going to work this all out. Now I know that these are divisible. I know that 4 goes into 4 once. And 4 goes into 8 2. So when I multiply this out, I'm actually getting 9 over 2 minus 9 over 16a equals 3 over 4a plus 15 over 2. Okay, then we've got to combine our like terms. I need to add a piece of paper because I'm running out of room. So now I'm going to subtract 15 over 2 from both sides, minus 15 over 2. And since I've got the same denominator, 9 minus 15 is going to give me negative 6 over 2. And here I'm going to add 9/16a. Add 9/16a. So keep in mind what's going on here. It looks a little confusing. I'm moving this to this side. And then I'm moving this one to this side. All right, so I'm going to get minus 6 over 2 equals, these cross out, these cross out, and I'm left with this situation. I need to change these into 3/4 needs to become something with a 16 at the bottom. Well, in order to get 16 at the bottom, I need to multiply this by 4 and this by 4. So I'm going to have 12/16. I'm changing that because of the fact that 3/4, and I have to add that to 9/16 and get 21/16. If you need a refresher on adding fractions, please do some more of that delta math. So I'm left with 21 over 16a, right, because there's my air term. Negative 6 over 2 becomes negative 3. Now, to get rid of this fraction, I'm just going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. So multiply this by 16 over 21. And I'm going to be left with negative 16 over 7 equals a, because 21 divided by 21, 16 divided by 16. These are good problems. These are not easy problems. So if you're struggling with these, that's okay. You just need some help with fractions. All right, that's the end of this video.